a powerful and hidden occupation behind the mainstay as the K-pop group Huntrix, protect their fans from supernatural threats in the form of demon hunters. The magical barrier their music possesses, known as the Hun Moon, keeps the demons out of the human world. But can it be compromised? A new boy band, the Saja Boys, sent by the evil demon king Jima, emerge in the form of demons, challenge Huntrix in an attempt to gain power from their audience and weaken the Hun Moon. The girls take a journey of self-acceptance, honesty, and provide us with some of the best original songs we've seen in quite some time. Or should I say, heard in quite some time. Can they prevail with the balance of being mega pop stars and demon hunters? Can they protect their loyal fan base? They will surely sing, they'll dance, and then they'll battle some demons. Because tonight we do a discussion of sorts on the latest Netflix phenomenon, K-pop Demon Hunters. This is a production that definitely is not ready for the takedown, and you are listening to a My Little Soda Pop edition of Just for Flix. What's going on, guys? It's your boy, Patty B. Let's keep it gentle. With me, as always, is Mr. B-Dawg, Mr. Brandon. What's going on, man? How you doing today?
I'll be your Bobby of the evening, and if that was your Damon voice, I'd really be scared, and I'd be running away in a heartbeat. Yeah. Hey, don't forget, you got.
No, were you a gunman? You're going with him.
You know, in one of the latest ones when you did that with the whole when we did Miracle and we did the face off, and you're like Pat or B-Dawg, and I'm like, in the middle of the video, I put Boss Nass. Oh man, no, I'm excited. This is a movie that I think this is a movie both of us finally came to an agreement on that we should cover because of how much of a phenomenon this movie has become. You know, it is. I was kind of scared going into watching it because I was like, oh boy, here we go again. We're gonna watch another movie just like Frozen, and I didn't like Frozen, so I'll put it out there. At me in the comments. Don't at me in the comments, please don't. I'm not ready for that.
Right. You're not you're followed by fellow Frozen haters, so don't worry about that.
Like I was kind of scared because that's kind of what I put this movie on when I heard the reviews, when I heard everything. This was another Frozen movie. This was going to be the next phenomenon that takes off animation. Even though I don't agree with that, I will put Into the Spider-Verse before I put this one.
Well, you know what? Let's rewind there too. I guess because we're far removed from Frozen at this point, right? Because they've already had a sequel. Is it just one sequel they've had?
Yep, only 2 movies.
Yeah, and I forget how big a deal Frozen was because I wasn't really into it. I mean, I think I was fresh out of high school when it came out, so
I was one of them that sang that song "F It All" instead of "Let It Go."
It all.
But that's not the purpose why we're here. We're here to talk about K-pop Demon Hunters. Now, Pat, let's go over the budget here. Now, the budget for this film was $100 million. Okay, $100 million. Now, we don't have a lot of figures to go off of how they've made overall with this. But just the weekend they released it in theaters, just 2 days, got over $18 million.
That's pretty good.
Oh, just one weekend. Saturday and a Sunday.
I mean, I got to think too, there's probably in limited theaters, right? Limited theaters. I don't think there was probably any kind of promotion for this movie, was there?
Not to my knowledge, at least. But
I mean, I never heard about it until it was on Netflix.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like until it was.
I think that should be really our first point. Now, a lot of people don't tend to think about this movie, and I think let's give a little bit of context clues behind what we're talking about. Now, Sony was the company that actually made the film, but they sold the distribution rights, the ownership of the film, the sequel spin-off rights, and music rights to Netflix for a whopping $25 million. Now, Sony essentially did the safety first play during the pandemic when they sold this. This was being made during the pandemic. They just decided to sell it because they didn't know if it would be a success. And now it's actually become the highest streamed film on Netflix ever, topping music charts, merchandising, and even theatrical releases at this point. And right now, what it's estimated is Netflix could look on the upside of receiving about hundreds of millions of dollars for this film,
Just for
just
that
for that
movie.
movie.
That's
Do you,
insane, dude.
so let's
That's
talk about this deal. Do you think this was probably will go down as one of the worst deals in cinema history?
yeah, well, I mean, only worse for one side, right? The side that well, yeah, and that's what's gotta be kind of demoralizing is that they're the ones that originally budgeted this movie, right? Or they had it
Right.
made and they just gave it up and the fact that I don't and why again did they do it event like just didn't think there was gonna be any kind of return
So at
on
the
it
time, it was
or
COVID. They
yeah.
sold the rights because they went, well, I'm not taking any chances. They sold it for 25 mil. Now, Sony will still make the other movies, but you can't. I just don't see Sony going, yeah, we want more money because really you sold all those rights to Netflix. Yeah, Netflix could give you more money, but it isn't going to be as much as they're going to be making.
Yeah, now yeah, exactly. It's you take that man, yeah, it's a bad deal, but great
Oh,
deal for
yeah.
Netflix. Great deal for
This
Netflix.
will go
I mean, the
down
fact
as
that you
like,
said
I would put this like, if this does not get an Oscar nod, I don't know what
yeah.
else to say about this.
And is that because it could be it's a Netflix entity now? It's got that Netflix branding on
Well,
it? Is that
well,
why you think?
Netflix films have been nominated in the past. I'm going to put it this way, and I think we talked about this beforehand. If Golden doesn't get an Oscar nod, this song has been topping the
Yeah, for best
charts.
original song?
This song has been doing a lot of things
Yeah.
for this movie. It's been number one at points on the Billboard charts. I'm sorry, then there's something wrong if they don't get the nod. Because if I'm not mistaken, not only about maybe 5, 6 years ago, or within the last 5, 6 years, Encanto had a song that was up there in the Billboard charts for a while.
Yeah, what we don't talk about that was already 5 years ago?
But
Holy shit. It's getting
I'm
there.
saying though, when you really think about that movie, that song was on the top of
It was
Billboard
huge.
charts for a while. You heard it on radios. You hear Golden now on radios. Like, to
Yeah.
me, if they doesn't get a nod, then it's kind of like a slap to the face. I'm gonna put it.
Even I mean, there's a few other songs that are pretty good too. I mean, but yeah, I mean, Golden is probably the most successful out of everything on
Yeah, like I going back,
on the
going back
album.
to the original point, I do feel like this was a stupid deal for Sony. It's kind of like they bailed out quick. They were just like, "Oh, we don't want to continue putting out for this. We'll sell it to you for 25 mil." And it's one of the worst decisions to be
I would
made.
be I would be willing to wager whoever was in charge of making that decision no longer works at Sony. I'm just saying, I mean, that's a huge, huge mess
Well,
up.
Sony's already been
And
having
maybe,
issues.
I guess these things naturally happen, I
Yeah,
think, also when it comes to like in the behind the scenes with studios finding the getting the providing the funding for a lot of these projects. And when that legal mumbo jumbo gets involved with owned entities and whatnot, it's just stuff like this happens more times than not, and I think you don't see as big of a return or something that's not going to be really like an eyebrow raiser. But this one is an eyebrow raiser, and it's really just like you said. It's just I think a lot of people, or maybe whoever sold it off, didn't think of its immediate success and what it was going to have, what the impact it was going to have. I mean, the fact that we're talking right now about a possible movie that's now a Netflix movie could possibly, potentially, I think it's a good possibility that it is going to get an Oscar nod. Probably for either best original song or animation, because the animation is flawless in this movie. And that's something that I don't think that anyone, that the people back at Sony, when they got rid of this movie, gave it away, didn't think of anything
Which,
that was going to happen like that. Oh, I guess you had Sony. Real quick, you had Sony
well,
did Into the
that's was my
Spider-Verse,
whole
didn't
point.
they?
That's kind of leads into our next talking point
Yeah.
with the animation style. This was so similar to Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse. These guys revolutionized that
Mhm.
style. That's why I will always put, like, yeah, you have Frozen, but people tend to forget about Into the Spider-Verse when it comes to animation revolution, or evolution. That style it's, and I agree. I've talked to friends about this before in the past. It's a movie that the animation style might not click with you at first, but once you watch it
Mhm.
again, it's actually pretty intriguing. And then you watch the second one and they do just the same thing with it. And then you have this movie that it's like, why did Sony not think that way? This was a hit as it is with this animation style. Why did they say no to it? And I think that's, like, granted, we know part of it is they didn't feel it was going to be a success. And on top of it, I think too, they couldn't release it in theaters, or they were scared to release it in theaters because they didn't know if it was going to be a success or not, especially during the time frame of it being made, which was during that pandemic time frame. So there's a lot of
Yeah.
factors into that, but the animation style I enjoyed. I truly did. It was a great film. The
It was
the
it was
choices, the
awesome.
colors I thought were really well done. There's really, like, even the demon I thought was very malicious. Not a way that you would
Oh
look
yeah.
at a demon. And when you see him in this film, it's just the main demon. It's just a big ball of fire is what you think it is, but just the animation style on it was just, I love one of the scenes that I think of for this film is Rumi when her scars start lighting up. That
Oh
scene,
yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Well, even
yeah,
yeah,
but
go
like
ahead.
it gave
Sorry.
me
Go ahead.
vibes like how it was in Spider-Verse with Miles's electrical um webbing and all that kind of stuff, or how the electrical side of him came out. It showed a lot of showcases of that, and I thought it was really well done.
Yeah, when the scars come out with the Saja boys like that. I
Or the
forget the
pop,
song. I
or,
think it's
or your
Idol.
idol, your
The
idol.
Idol. Your Idol. Yeah, that whole I love that song and just the scene with that follows. And that's, I think, a big trend in this movie that we're gonna be talking about, is all these songs blend so well with the action inside of it, or whatever. They not only explain so much with the song, but also the visualization of everything, that's happening within those scenes. But going back to the Saja Boys, with they just look so badass with the dark version of the demon version of them. Um, when I first saw it, I'm like, that's kind of cool, because yeah, just like the transitions of colors that we talk about in this. Also, I mean, everything pops in this
Mhm.
movie, right?
Other thing I want to bring up, and I think you kind of turning us into our next talking point here, is the soundtrack. Do you feel the songs, including Golden, like we said before, hit number one on the Billboard charts? And at one point, I believe 4 of their songs were on the top 10 on the Billboard. Do you feel that this is the bigger drive for the film? Or do you feel it's a mixture of both the movie and the songs?
I think it's both. I think it's kind of like an ensemble of teamwork
Mhm.
within this movie. As far as the different aspects of it go, I think they work so well with each other that it excels the success within this movie. So I think it's definitely both. The plot is super super easy to follow, and I'm not saying that in a negative way. I just think it's for Also, being this movie has a runtime of an hour and like
Yeah, it's not
39
very
minutes,
long.
I think. So the runtime, the runtime with the plot, with everything mixed in between, I think it's perfect. I mean, look at this thing. Look at the Rotten Tomato
Yeah.
ratings on here. 98%. So that's insane, bro. That's you don't see, especially now, a lot of animated movies. I don't know what Into the Spider-Verse got. I
It
would
was in
assume that
I
it was
believe
probably
it's in the
pretty high
90s as
because that
well.
animation
I believe
style
it's in the 90s as well.
yeah. I I wouldn't doubt it. I know Ratatouille is pretty high up there. Um,
Well,
Shout out to Ratatouille. But, like, I was just shocked when I looked this up, you know, when I was making my notes for this is I 98%. That's insane, dude. That's insane for a Netflix animated movie. That's I would say that, and I know people are like, oh, you can't listen to Rotten Tomatoes, blah blah blah. I will say this: they have made some terrible ratings. There's a couple, you
when
know,
they say something about DC
it's all about
Comics being too dark, there's a problem. Like DC Comics is a little darker
yeah.
universe. I'm sorry that you can't get your eyes adjusted to darkness. Like
I was
I was
born in the
born in
dark,
darkness.
molded by it.
Yeah. But
But I just
you
yeah
got a good point.
yeah. I think it's a big testament to the movie, like with it being what it is and being like, holy, because I heard about this through people I followed on social media that like their kids were super into it. As you know, I have children of my own. And, you know, my son, my oldest son, watched it, and my wife was starting to get into it. They, you know, I'm fortunate enough to take my kids like as a family. We're able to take them to school pretty much every morning together, and we'll listen to that on the way. I'm like, oh, what's this? And I'm like, oh, this is from that K-pop Demon Hunters movie. I'm like, this kind of slaps. I'm not gonna lie. You know, and it's like the more you listen to it, the more I got into it for sure. I mean, some songs I resonated with a
Mhm.
little bit better than others, but I would say in a whole, it's a pretty successful original
I'm
soundtrack.
I'm gonna kind of tell you how I feel. Like, and here's
Very
the
well
reason
done.
why I'm gonna say this. I think when you think this movie in the future, I'm not gonna think of it in the movie. I'm gonna think of it as the songs. And I put that in a good
Mhm.
way. I'm not putting any trash to the movie. The movie's great.
I know exactly. No, I feel like I'm
But
following you exactly
but
how you
I
feel right
also am
there.
gonna put the whole Spider-Verse situation into it. Spider-Verse was good.
Mhm.
The first Into the Spider-Verse was an amazing movie. It's one of my top 5 animated films of all time. Across the Spider-Verse came out in 23 and continued that legacy and continued how good that animation, that story can be. I'm going to kind of put this for K-pop Demon Hunters. I think the second one, because we know we're getting the second one, or we're getting a series of movies,
Mhm.
is what Netflix is planning. I think that second one's going to really say, is this movie going to be remembered as a movie, or is it only going to be remembered by the songs? I think that's a good way to put it. I like the movie. I like the songs. I'm not downing it. My ranking for this movie when we release it is going to be pretty high, but it's just one of those things.
Mhm.
Like that's kind of where I'm putting. Like when you think golden, you think soda pop. Soda pop's become a TikTok sensation with songs. There's a lot of songs that go with this, and it works so well. And that's why I said I just feel like I'll remember this movie more for the songs than actually the animation or the story.
I
But
agree. I agree with that 100%. Because also the songs you can
like,
carry wherever, right? Say, like, even, like, and this is as simply put as possible, but, like, say, like, you're out and about and you're just like, "Oh, want some entertainment." You're not gonna listen to the movie, at least I
yeah,
would,
you
but you're gonna listen to the song because the songs are just so catchy. It's just they're
I
fun.
can't I
It's
can't turn
dude,
on a
these
radio without
songs
not
go in the
hearing
car, man.
Golden. I can't turn on a radio without hearing
Yeah.
songs from the movie. It even made my
Mhm.
playlist, like my personal playlist. It's just that good of a soundtrack.
Yeah.
It really is. But I think this is a kind of good way to go into our gaming session of the day. Now, fan, usually we
Oh,
do a
sure.
face off. We do this or that. We do a lot of things. This time we're going to kind of do something different, something we're incorporating back into our films or into our videos. where we're going to talk about how we rank certain things. And for for this video, we are going to do ranking of the songs. Now there are 7 main songs of the video, and what we're going to do is kind of rifle down our lists. So Pat, let's start with you. What is your number 7?
My number 7, I'm gonna go with "Free." There's just nothing there for me as far as
You
the song goes.
unsympathetic.
I know. I think it's because it's a little more slower songs in it.
That
I don't know.
freestyle rap
It's
in
just
that
it is what
film
it is.
though, or in that song, from Genu, that was so good what
Yeah.
he did there. So okay.
Now these next 6 were the harder ones for me. I just kinda had to put them where I put them and left it at that. Uh, Number 6, I'm gonna go with "My Little Soda Pop." Um, it's a fun one. I think it introduces you to the
Mhm.
Soulja Boys, right? Um, it's definitely, and plus, like I said, all the graphics and all of the synchronization within the music to the actual movie is so well done, and you see that here in this, and you're gonna see that in a couple more that I'm gonna mention. But, at number 5? Yeah, number 5, this might be criminal for me. I put Golden at number 5. Um, I'm sorry. I guess I'll just leave it at that. It's a great song. It's a great song. But right below that at number 4, I got Your Idol. Your Idol, we talked about it for a second. You know, I do love the way you see the demon form of the Soulja Boys. I just think that's so badass. And they look badass. I think they do such a good job on both parts with Huntrix and the Soulja Boys. I mean, there's some part like that whole the whole part with this next song that I got going on here for my number 3 is How It's Done. How It's
Yeah.
Done, 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 which is my son's favorite song, by the way, because he knows most of the words to it and he can actually, yeah. Anyway, uh the whole airplane thing, the whole airplane scene with them eating and everything, and then killing. You man.
I knew you were gonna say that.
The them fighting the demon airplane attendants and whatnot. That's just
Mhm.
that's cool shit. Um, Now my next 2, which is my final
Well,
2,
I
obviously.
hope so.
Um, as a hidden song you didn't know about. My number 2, I have What It Sounds Like. Um, and that's no competition for what the number 1 is. I just think, What It Sounds Like is also, I think, for me, reminded me of I love
Mhm.
EDM music, like house music and stuff like that, and it kind of had that feel to it. Like, you could easily blend it in with a kinda more techno, more a little bit more bass, slap into
Mhm.
bass, slap into bass. Um Big Fred again fan, so I feel like Fred again could do something like that with him. But my number 1, I'm going with the Takedown. Both renditions are fantastic, right? Because there's
Well,
2. I think there's 2 versions
remember they
almost.
rewrite the song throughout the most of the film because Rumi's kind of having second thoughts about it, right? But not only that, then you have another group who sings the song in the credits. Um, yeah, so
Yeah.
it's not the same people who sing. I don't think it's the same people who sing this for the singer or for the like the main characters of the film. It's like a whole separate group.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Actual artist. Yeah, 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 I got you.
but no, that's a great.
But yeah, that is that was my list. I'm interested
All
to see what
right.
you got now.
So I'm gonna start it off. I know this is your number 4 on your list. My number 7 is gonna be Your Idol. I did not like I get it. I love the animation for this stuff, but that song had nothing to do with me. I didn't find I went off pure relatability for each song. And Your Idol was
Okay.
just not one I was like gravitated to a lot. It's a song. It's there. It's not going to be you though at my number 5 or at my number 1. Sorry. Your Idol's my number 7. Again, none of these songs are bad. So I don't want to like, oh, he just hates the song. It's just not my taste. It's a good song for the movie. Great plot point. That's it. Number 6 is your number 1. It is Takedown. Not my go-to song. It's I like, and again, this isn't a
Boo this
bad
man.
song.
No,
Again, just not one I would put on repeat on my list. Just it's okay. It's just one of those songs, like, I like the beat more than I like the rapping, if that makes sense. But my number 5 is gonna be
mhm,
Free. I did kinda have that. It was kind of a really good sentimental point of the film. Juno was probably my favorite part of that song. I did like the whole rap part that he's singing and kinda seeing his side of the story a little bit more. I really did enjoy that. My number 4 is gonna be Soda Pop. That catchy little beat, the song that goes with it's
it
just
is.
so well done. I get it, a lot of people don't like that song. I do. It's just a catchy song. It really is. A good song has a good beat and it's very catchy. This to me is falls in that spot. Um, my number 3 is actually going to be How It's Done. How It's Done is, and I know Pat and I, we actually kind of combined on that one at number 3 itself. How It's Done, that whole scene was amazing. Just seeing how the even the
Oh, yeah.
beats hit with the music or with like the lights in the airplane and everything. The skyfall scene, like when they're just going skydiving without a parachute. But the song just has a really good beat throughout that whole song. The rapping and the singing that goes with it is just really well done. Um,
What I like about that too is it's almost like, I mean, it's the
right.
first song we're introduced to,
It
and
starts off with a
it's a
banger.
I think it's a
Yeah.
good song
It
to
catches your
start the
attention
movie.
really quickly. It does. My number
For
2
sure, for sure.
is Golden. Golden is such a well done song. It is something that you kinda see it, like, I like the song because it's very beautiful. It's really good, but it also kinda tells you a little bit more about Rumi, and I kinda like that about that song, that it's more kinda like, yeah, it might be a song about all of them, but it's really more about Rumi situation. It's just a really good, the beat of the song's really good. The vocals in that song is very good. So Golden's my number 2. My number 1 is What It Sounds Like. Just that song hits me in the feels so quickly.
Yeah.
It did. It was a very emotional song. It's a very emotional, like, outtake for Rumi, like, to have that moment, and she sings it so well that she even pulls out Zoe and Mira out of the situation, right? Like, they pull them out of that hypnotizing situation and focus on what they have to do. And just having that song where
Mhm.
and then that's where you have Gino's sacrifice in the long run. Uh, it's
Yeah.
it's such a
That's a good
beautiful
scene
scene, and
too.
that's why I said that song, and then how I love how it also starts off slow and then picks up.
Yeah.
And then it just starts taking off with the song. The beat gets faster, everything in that.
And that's where I was saying it kinda for me, it kinda related to,
Yes.
an EDM feel, like, it could easily be,
Right.
like, playing at a to the yeah, dude, like, it just I don't know, yeah, I that's a good pick, man, I think that's probably the one song that
Yeah.
ranked
Like,
higher
well,
for the
no,
both
how
of
it's
us.
done is up on both ours at 3. Yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
but
yeah,
no,
yeah, yeah.
fans, drop in the comments how you would rank all 7 songs from K-pop Demon Hunters. Now, back to your original televised screening. So let's talk about. I know we've kind of did some discussion points here, Pat. Let's talk about what you loved about the film.
Well, for one, and I feel like we'll just beat it with the dead drum, or beat like a dead horse, um, the
Yeah,
animation is fantastic in this movie. Everything is just so well done. I don't think it takes you said you brought it up so well too. I do think the music will have more of a lasting impression for me on this movie, but that doesn't take anything away from the
no,
visual aspects of the movie at all. I just think it's so well done. The transitions with the songs into the actual, parts of everything and how everything moves. Um, there I forget the song, but it's when they're in that back alleyway and they're like, kicking a bunch of demons up and everything like that, and it makes
well,
like a
take yeah,
perfect beat.
The
for
number
like,
one song on
yeah,
your list,
Takedown. Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Come.
Well, dude, I you know what? You. How about that? No, it's just it was so good. I think it almost made I had a laugh out loud moment there too. I'm like, oh, like, haha, that's good. Like, see what they did there. Um, a lot of good script writing in this too. Just dialogue, just funny, just a lot of good funny parts. And I think that's kind of what makes this movie more
Right.
family oriented. You know, it's got, and that's another cool thing about this movie is that it has so much range within it. It's got a lot of seriousness to it. It's got a lot of darkness to it, but it's also got a lot of fun, wholesome moments in it too. And just
Well, like
funny moments.
I think that's a good point to bring
I
up because this
Go ahead.
this movie, that first scene of the movie really sets up the lore, and it sets it up really well. Like having this
It does.
moment where you think, "Oh
Mhm,
yeah, they're just normal celebrities to you," but what they really are demon hunters, and they are protecting of the shield. And once it
mhm.
hits golden, then the demons are no longer allowed to enter Earth. And so that's what Rumi's told why she
Yeah.
has these marks. Once they seal it off completely, her marks will be removed. And to have these moments, it's
Mhm.
just it was a really good setup. You know, you kind of see throughout the decades, each one was different. So like it just transitioned to a new song style. You know, like I love the World War II one where you have the old singers in there singing on the, little microphone. And then you go into the 80s time frame and the 90s time frame, and then you go into what they are now. So it's just like a generation situation. And to kind of see how they are and how the demons are struggling too. Um, I thought that was a good way to do it as well.
I really the music alone too, I think, just I know we've talked about that too, but I just love how much it makes the movie better. Because I don't think you could have the success of this movie with just the animation and what the story is. Oh, that and speaking of that, that's what I was gonna follow is you were talking about the beginning sequence of this movie, and I just think that this first 10 minutes is what gravitated me the most into the movie, like, to just get me sold, but it's also, like, with what I said earlier, as in the plot is so simple. Like, them explaining that lore at the very, very beginning just makes this movie so easy to follow, I think, and I'm not saying that in a bad way because there's a lot of movies that try to be sneaky with something that doesn't need to be sneaky, or they try to build within it throughout the movie, and they're like, "Oh, the big reveal," when it could have just been easily it could have it's something that's not important that could have just been easily explained. In this instant, it is important, but it's also, like I said, it's just nice that they threw it right there at the beginning. Because in the first 2 minutes, you're like, "Oh, this is okay. I okay, cool. This is how we're rolling."
Right.
It's
And I agree with
straight
you
to the
there. Like
point.
and I think a good person to bring up in this case, and this is something I had in my notes, was how they did Rumi. Now, Rumi is the main character of the story, but having her be set up that she has the marks of a demon from the get-go and not be shocked, I kind of
Mhm.
like that because it kind of gave you more of a sympathetic feel, but also mysterious feel towards her. Like, why does she have these marks? But yet you kind of feel more sympathetic, especially when the scene happens when they rip off the sleeves and showcase the markings. One of the scenes I'm talking about demons, one of the scenes that I enjoyed the most is when they're sitting there talking about writing a new song, which would end up being Takedown. And they're like, yeah, it's gonna be a demon diss track, right? And then Bobby's sitting there like, I don't know all this about this demon stuff, but keep on doing it, girls. Like I know you talked about it before we started too. You loved Bobby. And Bobby is a fun character to watch.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Bobby was I think that was the comedic aspect, and then once you realize it's
Yeah,
Ken
it's
Jeong, you're like, "Okay, that checks out." Like, this is the dude that played, was it
Hangover.
Mr. Lee
Yeah.
in The Hangover? Yeah. Yeah. So, I think that
He
explains
was
everything
a
right
bright
there.
spot of the movie. There's really no characters that weren't a bright spot of the film. Um, the only character that got on my nerves was Baby. I'm just gonna put it out there. I didn't like Baby. I didn't like his goo
Mhm.
goo gaga. It's like what the hell is that? Like Having those moments where the story just flowed so well. From the moment where they sing their song, they go on stage, they release the new song, but then Rumi's voice starts going out. And then they go to the tonic place, which that was also another
Yeah.
scene I liked. Um, it's when they sit there like, you got a lot of walls. And it's like, no, I don't. Yeah, you do. Like, and then you look at Zoe, and Zoe's sitting there like, oh. And she's like, you have the aim to please. And then she's like, no, I don't. You would tell me if I did this, right? Like, all of them fit their roles so perfect. Like, even Mira, I know you and I talked about this because you sent this to me because the VMAs, just to kind of give you guys a heads up, we're recording this a day after the VMAs. Yeah, like,
The Monday,
but
the following
Mira
Monday.
kind of was like,
Yeah.
you know, like right at him. And he's like, yeah, I bet. You know, like Mira's personality kind of mixed, like it kind of gave you the main person, the comedic relief, and the strong person. Mira was kind of that strong person for them. Like even during the like when the Bobby's calling him on the plane, right? And he's like, "You're what about the show?" And then he's like, and he shows them all the hi, you know, and then the guys are crying, and he's like, "Look!" And he's like, she's like, and they're all like, and then Mira's like, sick.
Yeah. It cracked me up though the first time I saw her wrapped up as as the sleeping bag, and then
It was such a, and it was it's such a, it was such a good, like when I watched the VMAs, I sat there, I was laughing so hard because that's exactly what I saw too. I was like, God. I was like, yeah, that's cool.
perfect execution on that, by the way. Like whoever came up with the idea of like, oh, we got to capitalize on this. Like,
Well, that was one
yeah,
of,
let's fucking do it.
I believe that's the girl
Let's
who
dress her.
voices her or sings for her. Yeah, that's all cool.
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just,
yeah. That's what
it's one
makes
of
it even
those,
better.
like this movie, I really don't have a lot of bad parts. I did love Rumi and Gino's role or moments together because
Yeah,
like one of the scenes that it kind of showcased a lot more when he protects her in the sauna or in the I can't remember the exact names they called it, the steam rooms, how he protected her because there was a scrape on her uniform, and so he protects her by not showing the marks, but then he uses that kind of to his advantage because he's like, oh, just like you don't tell your group all this, like, but then you can see the feelings really start uniting them because, and that's where that's why I kind of gave Free a lot of like praise too, because that song really kind of unites the two of them. Like even the big old cat and the bird made me laugh, and that was kind of like two of his things, right? You know, like I there's another scene I'd like to talk about with Genu, and it's nothing to do with the singing in the movie. Well, it kind of is, but it's the first time he ever sings in the film. And it's not Soda Pop. It's when he sits there and he said, "Let the fire go out." Oh, I was sitting there, I was like, "Oh, this guy's cocky. I like this," you know, and have that moment. He's
yeah,
like, "You dare, I let you keep your singing voice and you dare mock me with it? No, not mock, just coming up with a new plan." And have that scene where like, well, we're gonna attack them where it hits their fans, and they do that whole like pose. It was the funniest thing I have ever seen. Like, how is that gonna work? And they all do their slow motion pose. It's like, oh yeah, that's gonna work. Yeah, yeah.
I don't know why it's
It,
kind of
it made
cringy,
you,
but in a good
it
way.
makes you think
If
boy
that
bands. It
makes
makes
sense.
you think all this kind of stuff. That's how NSYNC was. That's how Backstreet Boys was.
I pop. Well, yeah, and that's exact. And as a man, as you know, a grown man that saw In Sync when he was a kid, I can attest to that. I did see In Sync live right
You were the
before they
reason
broke
they
up.
broke up, Pat.
I had the privilege. Maybe, yep, maybe. No, I just, you know, it's funny because like when I think about boy bands, you know, it's like, man, I used to be into that
I
when I was
still
a
listen
kid, and
to
like
her.
you're like so far removed
Even
from it.
yeah,
Yeah, well now that you know Backstreet Boys is what 25 years old at least. You know
yeah,
that Millennium album was badass. Like I have some songs on my phone. Yeah, like
but like even then, like another
um
character I'd like to talk about is Zoe. Zoe was just a comedical relief, but you can also see she was the glue of the team too. she was the one that kept that team together at all times. And she brings some of those best moments in the film, like when she sits there when they sing Soda Pop and she's out there, like shaking her shoulders and everything. That was just a fun moment. Like, like when the Saja boys and invade their signing day that they were doing. And he goes, I'm not just sitting next to you.
Mhm.
What's up? Like having those moments, like those moments are so good with her. And she just brings that comedic relief, but also it's like, hey, get over yourselves. We got something to do here. And like even how she sits there and she tries to rip the book up because she's all pissed because Rumi doesn't want to, those lyrics just don't flow well. And she just brings a good aspect to it. All the Saja boys do as well. Okay, other than Ginu, who would you put as your favorite Saja boy? I have to ask now.
Um, I have the
Is it
list up right here.
Mystery?
Let me
That was the
look.
other part I like with Zoe too. Like, oh, you're my type, and then oh,
I like the dude. I'm bad at names, but I can describe. He's the one that's got like the hair kind of. He's got like the
that's
poofed out
Mystery.
hair a little bit.
The gray one, the one that he covers
Is
his
that mystery?
eyes,
Yeah,
the gray haired one, the one that
sure.
barks, and the one that Zoe had a no, the one that Zoe has a
Ow!
crush on in the film. Yeah, um,
I think so. Yeah.
I
And speaking of that, hold on, there was a part where you first saw them
mhm,
together. I think maybe it was with Jima or after they were doing. No, it was when they were at the
yeah,
signing and they left early, and then they
yeah,
throw all their flowers away in the trash. When they're walking right there around the corner after throwing their trash away, it gave me
yeah, it did.
The Lost Boys
That
vibe to it. The way they were just moving, just I don't know, that arrogance, that charisma. I was like, "Holy this is like reminds me
it
of
it it
The Lost Boys,"
go
which
on.
if anyone hasn't watched, check it out. Great film,
Like,
Michael Schumacher film.
but like
But yeah, no, I just when I saw that, I was like, "Oh wow," like yeah, and I think it goes back to the cockiness.
no, my favorite Soldier Boy, if I had to choose another one other than Genu, I'd probably go Abby just because I kind of like his like the scene even with Zoe, like the ripping of the shirt.
Oh yeah.
Scene, yeah, that scene was funny. Like even like just to have those moments, like Ruby was kind of the highlight for the film to me because it's her story. I will still put the girl who raised her, the former demon hunter that kind of trained them, as
Mhm,
like one of the main villains of the film. And the reason is because she was the one that was telling Rumi to hide who she truly is. And I feel that's a big part of it is not to be yourself. Don't be somebody that somebody else doesn't want you to be situation or hide yourself from what others expect of you.
mhm.
Um, I think her name was Celine. I did not like that. I did not
Yeah,
like her character. And I think that was the purpose. I think it was the purpose of she was trying to hide the secret, but and she was thinking she was doing good, but in reality, it wasn't really good. That's why I kind of like how Rumi stands up to her. Like, if this is what I've sworn to protect, and this is not what I want to protect, you know. And she leaves, but like, just there's just a lot of good movies, a lot of good visuals, a lot of good moments in this film that just is really good. And I technically don't have any dislikes about the film other than Baby.
yeah.
Like, oh,
I don't
that was
I don't either. I would say the only thing that I maybe wish we got a little bit more of was seeing Zoe and Mira's kind of background stories. But I know that the movie was solely around Rumi, and we kind of got a little bit of their backstories. But I wish there was just some points where it just focused more on them. But I get why it might didn't or might haven't. I mean, does that even make sense? I said that. But
even with like the Saja boys, you got to remember too. Genu was the main character, and we got a little bit about his backstory too.
yeah.
Like,
But
I
I think the Huntrix, I do think the Huntrix group is in it a lot more than the Saja boys, obviously. So I just, with that being said, I feel like I don't know. Like it almost makes you want. I think hopefully with this second movie they're going to be making, or potential second movie they're going to be making, um, they maybe have them a little bit more involved. And not saying they weren't involved, but I don't know. Just maybe if they made a movie off of each different character. I'm not saying they have to, but they could do something like that or something around those lines.
Great. No, that's a good way. I feel like this is a great way to kind of go out of the episode. There's really not more that we can talk about, but other than our rankings. So, Pat, on a scale of 1 to 10 soda pops,
I knew you were gonna say it too.
where are you ranking it?
So we talked about it. I I think the music is what stands out to this movie, mixed in with the animation, but the music, like perfectly said, you had uh the 5 years from now, I might be listening to the soundtrack. 5 years from now, I might not be watching this movie. More than likely, that's the case, and because of that, because I don't think it is a rewatchable film, or I'm not saying it isn't a rewatchable film. I think it depends on the demographic. For me personally, it's not. With that being said, I do think I'm hoping this movie has some success when it comes to award season, because it just they deserve it, or who the people that made this deserve it. And I think for having it such a delay in the time that this movie was made, you said around COVID.
Well, it was starting to be made during that time
Yeah.
frame.
So with that means, and this is a high ranking, I feel like, for a lot of more animated movies that I don't get involved with much, or that I don't cling to much. Sorry, I'm really postponing this, but I'm gonna give it a 7.4 soda pops, which I think is very fair for how my rankings go. Yeah, 7.4 I think is perfect for this movie.
So I'm not too far off from you. I'm over 8, but it's not to that point. I again, like you said, and I've said before too, the songs are going to be remembered more than I feel the animation if you give it a year or 2 years. But it also depends on the sequels. If they perform
Yeah,
well, if they don't.
that's the thing. The sequels might change the outlook of this first movie for me too. I mean, that's very possible, because now that I've seen this, I'm probably definitely going to watch the second one. Just especially I know my kid. My family is very enthralled with this movie right now. So I would bet my bottom dollar that if the second one is released, we're going to be watching it. So
But on a scale of 1 to 10 soda pops, I give this an 8.1 soda pop. This is a
yeah,
good film. I
it's fair.
feel they don't give this an Oscar nod, then that you can tell that the Oscars are rigged a little bit. I do feel this should be up for best animated feature, and I also feel like this should be up for best original song. Do I think it should get the best picture nod? No, I don't. Um, but all the other stuff, I don't see why they couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but no, this is a great film. This is something I could watch in the background. I don't have to have it where I'm paying attention to it. Would I watch it again right away? No, I've watched it once or twice now. I'm good, but it's a great film. I give it a lot of props for what this is, and still, Sony, what a dumb deal. I'm just gonna
Yeah,
put it there. What a dumb deal for you. Like, I hate
learn
saying
from
it.
your.
It gives you recognition, which I give you props, but for 25 mil, now it's going to be soaring over at least a few mil. You kind of made the wrong decision there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just gonna put it there. But no, great film overall. I give this an 8.1 soda pop. Um, but fans, let us know what you guys think about deep or K-pop Demon Hunters. What's your take on the film? What's your favorite song? How would you rank all 7 songs? Who's your favorite character? We want to hear that in the comments. Check us out, J4F Podcast, on Instagram and TikTok at J4F Podcast. And also check us out on Spotify and YouTube for other great movie content. If you like this content, want more of it, hit that like button, subscribe to that YouTube channel or to our YouTube channel, and hit that bell notification so you never miss an episode. Without further ado, I turn it over to Patty B to take us out.
Yeah, thank you guys for listening. Thank you for doing a little bit of demon hunting with us today. And B-Dawg, thank you for being my fellow demon hunter. And remember, we do it just for Flix.